Is my screen visible?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So good evening all. My name is Pratyush Talreja. I am one of the TAs in this course, Programming Data Structures and Algorithms using Python, and this is the week 5. So in this week 5 lectures, professor has covered exception handling and how to take inputs and give outputs, how to take user defined inputs, how to take inputs from users, handling files, string functions, formatting output, and some different functions like pass, delete, and none. So delete is a function, but pass and none are not the functions. So these things are covered in week 5. So can before like moving into the problems, so can somebody tell me what is exception handling? What are the different kinds of exceptions? Any answers? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can anybody tell me what are different kinds of exceptions?
Yes, sir. I can tell. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
So different kind of exceptions are like the various errors, uh, like अपना ये ये value error and
Rule by zero.
name error,
Okay, name error is one. Yes.
Syntax error.
Syntax
syntax
error
error.
is one. Have you heard about this division by zero error?
Uh,
Then there is one more
Yes,
error,
sir.
file not found.
yes, yes.
Runtime error.
Yes. So these kind of errors like name errors, file not found error, division by zero errors. So these are the exceptions that our program generate. So these we can handle. So as covered in the lectures, you have to use this try and except block. Let me show you a small example. Suppose a is equal to 5, b is equal to 0. When I do a by b, we get this zero division error. But this we can handle using the try block. In try block, we will write a equal to 5, b equal to 0, c equal to a divided by b. And in except block, if you know the name of the error, the name of the exception, that is zero division error, you can directly write here zero division error. But if not, if you don't want to do this, you can simply write except. This will handle all kinds of exceptions that our program might throw. Here we can print in except, you cannot divide a number by 0, for example. When you print this, you will get this. You cannot divide a number by 0, because what you're trying to do, you're doing 5 divided by 0, which will throw an exception. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Second part was handling input and output. So how do we take input from a user?
Hello, sir.
Yes, tell
Am I
me.
audible?
Yes, yes.
I have a doubt actually.
Yes, tell me.
So actually, if I'm writing a really long code,
Mm-hmm.
and if there are chances, if I'm taking an input from the another user, or I am taking input from a web or any other inputs,
Mm-hmm.
website, so there are chances that this zero handling error might occur, divide by zero and error might occur.
Definitely.
So yeah, so if I want to replace, if there is a b is equals to 0, and
Mm-hmm.
if I want to replace b, if there are 0, then it should be replaced with a 1 or any other number, or it should be just bypass. So can I do this?
Yes, we can do that, but depending on the programming, I mean depending on the programming questions that you face. So for example, like if it is clearly mentioned in the question, like if it is 0, you can make it 1, then you can do that. We can use an if block where we will check the values of the denominator, because every time when we do division we should make sure that denominator is not 0. So before this exception itself, so for example, if I am writing a equal to 5, b equal to 0, and b is the denominator here, so we can check if b is not equal to 0. When we check this, here you can print the statement like a divided by b. Else, sorry, there was an exception. So if b is not equal to 0, we directly print a by b because denominator is not 0 here. Else, we can print something like this, or you can directly make b equal to 1 here, but that will depend on your question, on the programming question that you are facing. So in this case we are getting denominator should not be 0. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now talking about handling inputs and outputs. So can anybody tell me how do we take input from user?
Input for function.
from keyboard.
Yes, yes, but what is the name of the function?
So
Input.
input.
Okay, okay,
Input.
Input.
okay. So we will handle the same case, division by 0 exception, by getting the input from the user. So for that, what we will do, we will write this condition here while true. In this, we will write a try block. And why we are doing it, I'll explain it shortly. In try block, what we will do, we will take input from user, enter number 1. Second input, enter number 2. And then we do c equal to a by b, or we simply print a by b. So here what we are trying to do, or just I'll save it here, I'll explain the use of else also. When we are doing a by b here, now what we are doing, in accept, we will print if suppose b is 0, because we are dividing it by b. If b is 0, number 2 is 0, enter another number. So what it will do, when it is throwing an exception, it will again go back to this while loop. It will again take both the statements, like enter number 1, enter number 2. It will execute these two statements again. If you are entering b properly, this c equal to a by b will execute. Otherwise, if you are entering b equal to 0, then again it will go into this accept block. And when this is done, what you can do, else statement. Else, else means if it is not going to accept, that means try has been executed properly. When it is going to else, you can use this statement break, because we have to come out of this true block, while true block. So when we do this, so it is asking us for number 1. I'm entering 5 for example, number 2 is 0. So again it is saying number 2 is 0, enter another number. So again it is asking for enter number 1. I'll enter 3 and again 0 this time. So again it is going back to the same loop. Now I'll enter 6 and then 3 for example. Just a sec.
Sir,
Yeah.
does writing only accept handle all the exceptions, or do we have to specify the exception
So we
for
can
particular cases?
yeah, I guess because we are taking input from the user here. So I guess here I guess we have to accept that. Then I have to change the code here because this will again go back to the same loop. It is not breaking. So let me
Sir, I
update.
think else should be equal to the while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this else, this is like indented here. So I guess this should come back. Or let me check. Let me get out of it. Or we'll do one thing. We'll go to the programming questions. So because there are many questions, there we will handle the situation. Try, catch, and then accept. So let's move to the first program. We will check that condition definitely there. How to use that else block. So the first question is, now we will use this file handling things here. So first program is write a program to copy contents from one file to another file. So that is we have to read the content from file 1 and write it to file 2. So how to read a file? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is the function to read a file?
So to read a file, we must open the file first
Okay.
and specify a word with R.
Okay.
First, we have to write the name in the columns, and then
Okay.
we have to give a comma in between, and then uh, 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 uh,
Okay. So I'll name the file as i.txt for input.
so,
Then
so then a word R in columns
okay.
are to read.
Okay. Yeah. So in this way we will open the file in the read mode.
Yes.
Now the statement is to open a file, read the contents, and copy it to another file. So what should be another file? So to copy the contents means reading it from one file and writing it to another file. So for that we have to open another file. We will
Yes.
name it as o.txt and we will open it in which mode? Okay. Now what we are trying to do, we want to read it from i.txt. So what I'll do, I'll create a file named i.txt here. And I will write a statement. So this is the contents of input file. We have to copy it into another file named o.txt. So as of now, you can see that only there is one file i.txt. But when you run this program, when you open this in write mode, so what this statement will do, statement number 2, it will check if o.txt is present or not. If it is not present, it will it will automatically create this file o.txt in write mode. So we don't need to worry about creating that file as of now for line number 2. But for line number 1, definitely there should be a file, otherwise we will get like file not found error. So now what we want to do, we want to read the contents inside the file. So what are the functions to read the contents inside the file?
Sir, read function, read line function, and read lines function.
Okay, sure. So in this example, in this i.txt file, we were having 9 lines. Each word was written in a single file, in a single line. So what we will do, we will use a for loop here for line in input dot read lines, because this will read the input in the form of array. This will store it in the list. So that's why we are traversing using the for loop.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, this file i.txt should be in our working directory or at any folder.
So it can be at any folder. So what we will do after saving this program, we will save it in the same directory. So for example, I will have this program named p1.py. I will store this program here itself. And if it is in the same directory, I just need to write i.txt. Otherwise, I need to
Okay.
mention entire path. If it is on desktop,
Okay.
then we to mention the path of the desktop, for example.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So now we are traversing through
So,
that
sir, one more
input.readlines.
question.
Yes.
Uh, so when you are opening the file, this
Mm-hmm.
input,
Mm-hmm.
will all the file, I mean, the content of all the file will be in memory, or when you are reading it line by line, it will just have one line in the memory at a time?
So when we do read lines, so in read lines, there will be an array created. So for example, when we do read lines, the content of that array will be, or list will be like this, different words together.
Okay.
So suppose there were only three words in my file. This is the, for example. So line will traverse through each of the element in that particular list when we do read
Okay.
lines.
So
And when you do
so
read,
at a time,
yes,
only for one element, the memory will be used, right?
yes. So list has been created using this input.read lines. Now you're traversing through the elements of the list. So list is stored in memory only. So you're traversing through
Okay.
that list now. Is it clear?
Uh, yeah, actually, I mean, suppose there is a 25 gigabytes of file. The
Mm-hmm.
file size is 25 gigabyte.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that will be opened at a time, and it will be there in memory, or it will be like it will be in bunches, and then it will be read.
So that depends. Like when you read a whole file, so this program will take that time to run that particular file also. But again, when you
Okay.
read this file, it is just reading the contents of that file. When you store it in a particular variable, then the memory will be used. You're not storing
Okay.
it somewhere now. You're just reading it. There is a file on your
Okay. So
system,
it's
and you are just going to
so
that particular file. The 25
okay. So
gigs
it's
is there in your hard disk
kind of
only.
pointer where it is just reading one line at a time, and then
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
displaying that
yeah,
line, and that line will be in the memory. Okay.
yeah. And the
Thank you.
25 gigs will be in your hard disk, whatever is stored in
Okay. Okay.
whichever folder.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So now when we read this line for I in input.read lines, what we will do, the output file name is out here. The variable is out. We will use the function write. And when we use write, we will just write this line. And after this is done, after this program is run, so what I'll do now, I'm saving this program. So like till week 4, what we were trying to do, we were trying to run the programs in command prompt. But from today, we will store the file name. This is the program one. I'll store it as .py extension. That is the Python file. So when you want to run this file, you just need to write Python and name of that file. So here I'll go out. I'll navigate to that directory. And here we have got two files now. One is i.txt, one is p1.py. That is my Python file. If I want to run this program, what I'll do, I'll write Python space name of the file. When I run this, o.txt has been created here. And when we check this output file now, it is the same content which was there in i.txt. So that means we have copied a file, copied the contents of i.txt to o.txt. Is this code clear? Like we have opened first file in the read mode, second in the write mode, and then we are reading line by line and writing also line by line. Is this
Excuse me, sir.
yes, yes.
Can you explain that input.readlines part again?
Input.readlines. Okay. So when you are there inside this file i.txt, so this is in the input variable. When you do read lines, what it will do, I'll take the content of the same file. So when you do read lines, this will read entire file line by line, but it will store it as a list. This will be stored as a list. Suppose I am writing only 4 words now, just to save time. Suppose this was the content of file. When you do read lines, this will be stored in the form of list. And when you have list, as we have seen previously, like in previous weeks, we can use this thing for line in that particular list name. And now for the first iteration, this line will be having this word and it is writing to output file. For the second case, it will be having is, for the third case, the fourth week. So line by line, it will write it in the output file. Is this clear now?
Sir, if there is any space between the words in between in a line, then the space also will be there in the as an element,
Yeah. So what I'll do now,
or the whole line will be there as an element.
so whole line will be there as an element. This is the week 5 I will write here. So for the first element, this is the week 5 will be the first element. Second will be is, third will be the. So if there are spaces between these lines also, this entire line will be red. We will delete o.txt. We will again run the same code. So when you see this file o.txt, you can see this is the week 5 is copied entirely. That entire line is red. Is this clear now?
Sir, what
Yes.
if happen if we write in paragraph?
That is also fine, not an issue.
Okay, sir.
So as of now, we have less text. That's why it is there in line 1. But if you continue writing, if it comes in the form of paragraph, entire thing will be written into o.txt. So whatever is there, you are doing line by line reading. Suppose this is your first paragraph, for example. This is doing line by line reading only. And however it is in i.txt, the same it will be in o.txt. Because we are just copying the contents by reading it line by line. So is this clear now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now the problem is there is one more exception named file not found exception. So for example, if I'm asking user to enter the file name, so for that we'll use the same code again that was not working in the command prompt. We will use while true, and here what we will do, we will ask user to input the file name. So suppose input, or is the name of the function, so earlier is inp equal to input enter file name. When user will input the file name, what we will do, I file for example, we will open. In open, we will give the name of the file, which is inp, which we have taken it from the user, and we will open it in read mode. We are doing the same thing, nothing else, but just for example, if the file name is different. So I'm using the except tag here. I will print if the file name is different, and if file is not there in that directory, I will write find not found. Enter again. Or I'll only print file not found. And if this is correct, else will go, and it will go to break. Now what we do here, so this is done. So in the first try block, what we are doing, we are inputting the file name from the user. We are asking user to input the file name. When I am entering here i.txt, and in my directory i.txt is present, I'll delete o.txt again here, not required. So what I'm trying to do here, when user will input i.txt, then this program will run properly. But if I am not entering the proper name, we will get the error file not found. So we will try to run this program once. It is asking for file name. I'll write e.txt. So I'm getting file not found, enter file name again. Because in our directory e.txt is not present, only i.txt is present. So I will write i.txt. Okay. The problem here is, what is the error? Can anybody tell me?
Sir, attribute error.
Yeah, but why we are getting this?
Not given.
What is not given? So, like while reading the code, what it is showing for line in input dot read lines. That means on line number 10 there is the error, and that is attribute error. And what it is asking, object has no attribute read lines. It is doing input dot read lines, but for this code the read file is in I file. That's why we have to write here I file dot read lines, because when we are opening the read file it is in I file variable. Previously it was in input dot read lines, but I forget to replace it. That's why we are getting the same error. So now when I run this, I will run it again here. So first I'll enter e.txt, which is not present. Now it is asking for enter file name. I'll enter i.txt. So now the program has run successfully, and we will check if o.txt has been created or not. So this is created with the same contents. There was some problem in the command prompt, but I'm using the same code here. The error that we are getting, this else was not executing at that time. So now what we are trying to do, when the file name is proper, when the file name is i.txt, then it is not going to accept block. And when this try has been executed successfully, it will go to else block and break will be executed. When break is executed, it will go to line number 9, and it will automatically take o.txt, because for writing we don't need our file to be present there. Only for reading we need the file to be present in our directory. And then we are doing the same thing for line in ifile.readlines, out.write, and that particular line. Is this clear now? Try, except, and else.
Excuse me, sir, I have a doubt from myself.
Yes.
The else block should be inside the while loop or should be equal indentation to the while?
No. It should be inside while loop only. It should be with try block. But previously, the division by zero error that we were getting was because of some command prompt thing. I don't know why. But now we are able to execute that thing here. So when we execute the same code, a equal to something, b equal to some zero value, and you try the same code here in .py file, it should work.
Okay, so thank you, sir.
Yeah. So now if you are done with this program, we'll go to second program now. So second
So it's
is,
interpreter, right? So I mean, is there any way to just check any syntax error before we actually run the program?
syntax error, I guess, cannot be checked. When you run it, then only you can get the syntax error. But with some of the IDEs, for example, when you use Eclipse IDE, I know it for Java. When you use Eclipse IDE for Java, then you will get the red lines if you're writing some wrong
Okay.
syntax. But here we are only
Okay.
writing in the text editor. So while writing the code, I'm not sure if you will get it here or not. Or you can try PyCharm also. I'm not sure if that will
Okay.
also give the error during the writing phase only. There should be IDE available for Pythons to give the error during the writing of the code, but I am not aware of as such.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So now the second code is write a program to search for a
So,
given
sir,
value.
excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I have, sir, why we are then using a while loop here? Because it is never done more than once. So here, once we get the correct and correct file name, then we are getting out of it.
So yes, see, for the first
So
case, I have entered the file name as e.txt. So when file was not found, it went into this except block, and it has mentioned this statement file not found. This print statement was executed, which is written on line number 6. And again it went back. Like when while is true, again it went back, and again it asked us to enter the file name again. When I entered i.txt, which is the correct file name, it came out of this loop because of this break statement. So again, if I was to write the wrong name here, again it will be executed, because we want to enter right name, so that we have to copy the content from one file to another file. That is the sole reason we have written this while true. Otherwise, if you are entering wrong name, it will not read the contents of the file. So that is just the reason. Am I clear on this?
okay, sir, that means if we have some other conditions,
Mm-hmm.
then also the same thing happens because here it is true.
Mm-hmm.
I think here when we are executing the try block, then something goes false and then automatically goes to else state, something like that.
If it is true, then only it will go to else block. If except is running, then else won't run. Like for the first case, when the file name was wrong, e.txt, it went to
Okay.
accept block and printed this file not found, but it didn't go to this else block. It will again go to this while loop. For the second case, when file was found, like i.txt, it will not go to this accept block, it will go to this else block. And when this break is executed, we came out of the while true loop.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So, sir, unless we enter the existing file, otherwise the loops keeps on going.
Can you please repeat? Your voice was breaking.
So, unless we do not enter an existing file, the loops keeps on recurring.
Yes, yes, that is like infinite loop because it is while true. Second thing, what you can do is if you don't want to enter the uh, like infinity loop, you can write here I equal to 1, for example, and every time you go into try loop, you do I equal to I plus 1, and here you can check while I is less than equal to 5. So for the 5 times if you are entering wrong input, it will actually it will run, but after the fifth iteration, it will directly come out of the loop. And there you have to make sure your code is proper, because for the 5 times if you are not entering the file name correctly, and for the sixth time whenever you use this out statement, you will get an error on the line number 11, because this file is not opened and we are reading that file name here. So you can do it for finite number of times also, but just to show you how to use this try and catch block, try and accept block, I have used this while equal to true, while true.
Sir, so
Yes,
if we give the value for I, we have to implicitly increment.
yes, you can increment here also. That's what I told, like you can increment in try block.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So let's now see the second program. The second is write a program to search for a given word in the file. So we just need to check if that word is present in the file. So this is the very simple logic. How do we execute this? Can anybody just tell me the logic? I'll quickly write the code then. I'll copy this code just to save time. Can anybody tell me the logic for this?
Sir, can you repeat the question?
The question was to search for a given word in a file. We just have to mention if that word is present in the file or not. For example, if
Sir,
yes,
can't we just
Sir, we would
open a
use repeat
file,
lines.
then read lines, and then return to if the word occurs?
okay, we can do that. But for this, we
Why?
just yes,
Uh, then we can set the loop to end of file.
yes, we can do that also. So with the same code, what we will do, I just pasted the code again. What I'll do, we don't need another file here. We just need the input file. I'll write the name as i.txt properly here, but I'm not changing this try, accept, and break. So what we will do, when we read this input file, this out is not required here. So for line in I file, here only we can check, or what we can do here is we can take input from the user only. Enter a word to search in file. Now what we can do, here we can check if word in line directly. If this is the case, we will do print the word is present in the file. And one more thing, what if the word is not present? So for that we will take a flag equal to 0. So if word is present in the line, what do? We make flag equal to 1. And when this for loop has been executed, after this for loop, we can check if flag equal to 0, that means word not found. Let's first run this program and then we'll go to the logic. We'll save it as p2.py.
Sir, one doubt.
Yes.
Sir, here you are written in for loop for line in whatever the file name is.
Mm-hmm.
So the Python recognizes the word line. Is it a keyword?
No, no, I can write anything. I can write my name also. So this is just the variable. We are iterating through the ifile.readlines.
So where you have defined the line here.
We don't need to define in for loop, right? So whenever we execute any for loop, we directly can write for a in, for example, any of the list. Here the list is ifile.readlines. So when you traverse it, you
Understood.
don't need to define here.
Understood. Sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's first run this program. Program name is p2.py. It will ask us to enter the file name. I'll enter the correct file name. Then it is asking us to enter a word to search in file. I will write my name. Then we are getting word not found. Second example, I'll enter the file name i.txt, enter the word to find. I'll write week. So it is giving the answer word is present in file twice because week was present twice. As you can see in the input file, week is present here also, here also. So week was present twice. That's why we are getting the output. So now what we have done, this, yes, yes.
In this file, we have like single word lines. If we have like larger lines, how long will be the word? Like if we have an apostrophe or any other uh, signs, how long will be the word like?
So can you please repeat? Like if the line is long, then
The word variable is there, no, sir. How long? How it will decide? Like how long the word variable should be?
it can be anything. I mean, no issues about the length. Suppose I'm writing it like this, and if I'm copy pasting the same it here, same code there. So suppose this is the big word, right? If I'm copying it, if I'm running it here, I'm first entering the file name, then I'm entering the word to search. This is the copied one. So this will say that word is present in the file. So there is no limit to this word, length of this word, length of the string.
No, there is a we need some space to end of the word. To mark the end of the word, we need a space, right, sir?
Can you please give me an example? I'm not able to get your question.
Like if we have like apostrophe or any other special characters in middle of a word,
Mm-hmm.
will it consider like half of the word?
So you mean like this? Suppose I'm having colon, then
Yeah, like that, sir.
so I will
If I
try.
have colon, will the word end like half of the word and other half of the word?
So you are asking if we can search for V only, WE. Is this what you're asking, or you want me to search the entire word?
Yeah, sir. Like if there is any special case in the middle,
Uh-huh.
will it consider it as two separate words or
No, no. That time we have
the
to separate the
including
word.
the special
So when we want to search a
character?
word, you have to write WE colon EK. This will be one word completely without spaces there. So in this particular line, when you check for if week is in this line, so this will check for this word week. But for this line, when you check WE is present or not, that will be the substring. So at that time, you have to write the string functions that was also covered in week 5, how to separate the strings, how to split the string. So that will be checking substring in the function. We are checking the complete word in the function in this particular file.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
So to explain this code, this is the same code that I have copy pasted from the program number 1, which is to read the file. If file name is correct, it will come out of this loop. If the file name is incorrect, it will go on and on till infinite number of times. Second is we are taking word as the input from the user and we are writing flag equal to 0. And then we are traversing through that input file. Any questions?
Sir, why are you writing flag is equal to 0?
Okay, so suppose we are checking for line in this entire lines. So in this entire code, so this in entire file content, there are different words. But now, for example, if I am writing word equal to Pratyush, my name is not there in the file. So what we are doing, we are checking if word is present in that line. If word is present, we are printing the word is present in the file, and we are changing flag equal to 1. But what if that word is not present in the file? So we cannot make flag equal to 1 there. So after this for loop, I am checking if flag equal to 0. If it is 0, then we are printing word not found. Just to check if the word is there or not inside the file, we are using this flag.
So if it is there, flag will become 1.
Your flag will become 1. And then this word not found will not be printed. So now the
Okay.
situation here was when we ran this program, I've entered the file name.
Sir, sir, if we want to give always correct file name, then the while loop is never be terminated, sir.
I didn't get you. Can you please repeat? When the file name is
If we,
correct.
if we want to give always correct name to the file,
Mm-hmm.
then the while loop is never be terminated, sir.
So while loop is terminated in my case, right? I am giving the correct file name. So it came out of the while loop, and this ninth number statement is executing correctly. Enter a word to search. So that means this while loop has been executed, and that is terminated because we have given the right file name. If we are giving the wrong file name, like e.txt for example, then this will go on and on because this is while true. Then it will not be terminated unless until you give the correct file name.
Okay, understood, sir.
Okay. So now we are entering word to search. In this case, there were two weak. So this is printing two times. The word is present in the file. So if we want to just print it once, what we want to do, we will cut this print statement from here. We will just make flag equal to 1 here, and we will check if flag is 0, that means word is not found, else word is found. So now when we check for same word weak, which is twice in our file, only once it will print the word is present in the file. Is this code clear?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, is this work for any file format? For example, for PDF?
I guess for PDF there is some PDF reader. There are some classes you need to import it.
Okay.
This should work for TXT. For CSV it should work.
Okay, Excel or CSV
Yeah, for
or
CSV also
text.
it should work. But for CSV, I guess there is one function. There is one class named CSV. So for CSV file, for JSON file, you need to import CSV, import JSON to read
Okay,
those files. This will work only for text files.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sir, suppose if we are searching for he, and there is no word like he, but there is a word hello, then is it print a word is found or not? Word is found.
Okay. So I.txt. What you want me to search? HE only, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it is. We are getting the word is present in the file. So what was the question?
Sir, if there is no word like he,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a word hello, HELLO,
Mm-hmm.
then is it print word is present?
If it is not found in the file, sir.
Yeah, we have it here, right? But if it is not found, we will just get. Just a second.
Sir?
We will just get the word is not found. Word not found.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so for that we were using this flag
So,
function.
sir, here it's looking for the substring, not the exact word, right?
Yeah, yeah. If we want to use exact word, there are different functions also. We just
If
want
we
to check
want
if
to
that
search he, then we use another for loop, sir.
no, no, inside this for loop only. Like we are checking if word is
Yes,
in
sir.
line, if that particular thing is present or not in the
Loop
line.
if condition, sir.
So if you want to search for exact word, you're asking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for that there is a find method. So when you write, for example, if we are directly checking if that word is in line, so in place of that you can write for line dot find. There is a find method, and for that find method you can check this word. When this word will be present in the file, it will give 0 as the output. That means word is
Sir,
present.
we also use the membership operator, sir.
Yes.
By using if condition,
Mm-hmm.
we also use the membership operator in.
Yeah.
It is correct, sir.
Yeah. So I am just checking here. Suppose there is a find method here. So we are checking for word in that particular line. So if word is found, it will give 0 here. Then we can write word is found. Else it will give -1 if that word is not present.
Yes, sir.
So there are different methods
Excuse
to
me,
solve
sir.
this problem, but I am using this in here. Yes.
Sir, when else block is executed, sir?
Which else block? On which number line? 7 or 16?
7, sir.
Okay, so whenever you give the wrong file name, it will print this file not found. It will again go to this while true loop. But when the file name is correct, as in our case, we are entering i.txt. If this is correct, this except will not execute, this else will execute. And then we are executing this break statement, which is terminating this while loop. And that is the time we are coming out of this while loop.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, does this find method work only for English alphabets or can we find other language alphabets also?
Actually, this I have not tried. You can try and let me know next time. That should
Yes,
work, I
sir.
guess, because those are just characters only. Not sure if it will work for Chinese characters or others. But you can
Yes,
try
sir.
this. Yeah. Okay, so let's quickly
Excuse me,
go ahead.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, in this exception,
Mm-hmm.
can we pass a user-defined exception like file not found and Java and all some types of exceptions are there
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Uh, Whether we need to pass an argument or else just simply accept if we give, it will take this Python.
So, like in Java also, we use catch block, and inside catch block,
Ah,
we
yes.
write the class name. So, in class name, you write arithmetic exception E, for example. Or if you don't know the name of the
Ah,
exception, you
yes.
directly write exception space E.
Exception.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Then you stack trace and print the exception there. There is no such
Yes,
method
yes,
here, but
sir.
except will do the work. Like you write exception there,
Ah,
you will
yes.
write except here.
Ah, okay.
Sir, in the fourth line, you have put R.
Where?
In the fourth line, you have put R in the open.
Uh-huh.
What is the reason for that?
So we are reading the file, right? So for
Oh,
reading,
for
you have to
reading,
write
we
R.
have to put R.
Yes. For writing, you have to put W.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
in for loop, we are using variable line, right, sir?
Yeah.
Will it have any real value, like
So
if
like,
we return line?
okay. So what we will do, we will simply remove this code here, or I'll do one thing. I'll copy paste in another tab. So what we will do, I'll remove entire thing. Now I will just print the line. We want to know what is there inside line, right? Was this your question?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. So what we will try to do, I'll save it as demo.py. I will run the code here.
Our week 5 assignment is very difficult to understand, sir.
Yeah, that's why I'm only covering this I mean files here, because only one question is there for this week assignment, and that is based only on files. You should get it definitely. Once you know how to read the file, write the file, you can apply the logic. Just consider that is not a file; those are list. Try to solve it in the form of list and then convert it into files or whatever it is asked for. Let me
Okay,
solve
sir.
this problem first. We'll deal with that. So when we are entering the file name i.txt, now it is asking for word. I'll do any word because we are not searching word here. So now you can see the contents are printed. So for the first iteration, it is printing the first line. For second iteration, second line, third iteration, like that. So based on the iteration, line will have a particular value. It will have the value of that particular line. But now there is one more gap in between, which was not there in our input file. Can anybody tell me what is the reason for this?
Sir, a print statement defaultly printed a new line, sir. That's
Oh,
why.
perfect, perfect. And how do we get rid of this? What is the solution?
Sir, end is equal to double quotation.
And equal to space.
Perfect. So when we run this again, I'll run it again. I'll give the name of the file. Enter word to search, nothing. So now there is no line gap in between. Is it clear, the use of line?
Sir, how do we change that?
What do you want to change?
Like, sir, the program opening on a new line.
Okay. You mean this one? This one you're asking for?
Yes, sir.
So, like by default, when you just write print statement, it will include a new line. And our program also had this thing. Like our files is also having new lines. So first, what it is doing, it is printing this thing. It is not mentioned here, but the end of that line is \n always. So that's why it is going to new line. Again with the print statement, one more line is coming. That's why it was printing like this after every line. But to get rid of this, what we can do, we can write end equal to this. By default, end is equal to new line. But we are doing end equal to nothing. So then print will not go to the new line. And in that case, we are getting this statement as it is there in the file. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So let's.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, someone tell that WE colon dot EK, if we type like that, and if we search for the word WE, the interpreter will tell us that the word found or not found, sir.
It should tell word found because we were using in. So in will check the entire line.
Okay,
If you want
sir.
to find the exact word, there is that find method which I mentioned earlier. Line dot find equal to 0.
Sir, it will consider WEs as a separate word, right, sir?
Yeah, that particular string is present in the line.
So WE was considered as a single word and colon, and then EK was considered as a single word, right, sir?
Yeah. So the thing
Okay,
is, entire file content, it will just check if W is present or not.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So now the last program for the day, I guess, is a program to find the most repeated word in a file. So in our case, in our file i.txt, the most repeated word is week because it is occurring twice, and there is the also. I will make one more. I'll just keep it as one word only. I'll again write week for the third time. So that week should be the output.
One doubt.
Yes.
Should we save the file name as i.text or anything else, sir?
Anything. Whatever you
Uh,
wish for.
but we should include that dot text, sir.
Yes, because it is a text document and you need to give
Okay,
the file extension also while reading the
okay,
file.
okay.
Okay. So now for the third example, I'll again copy paste the same code. This part will be common for entire three programs because we are reading the file. If the name is correct, we'll go to new line. Now here we have to define variables. I'll remove this. First I'll write the code and then I'll explain. Did you understand the problem statement?
Yes, sir.
The most repeated word in that particular file we want to print. For that, what we will do, most repeated is blank as of now, and count to 0. We will check how many times it is repeated, and we have to print words also if we want. because there can be more than one word repeated. Suppose there is week and the, for example, repeated three times, and that is the maximum count. So both words should be printed. Now what we are trying to do, again we are traversing through that loop. IF file dot read lines. And here what we are doing, we are writing words dot append. And we want to append the word, and before that, how do we split the string? Can anybody tell me?
Dot is split.
Okay, I will write split words as the variable name, and line will have that particular line. We will use dot split, right? And we will split in the form of only spaces. Reason being, our file only has spaces now. So now here what we will do, we are using line dot split. Now split words, we have to traverse through the split words, because split words will only have the words in the file. So for that there will be another loop. For ABC, for example, in split words, I will append in word, or I'll write word. That will be more making sense. Words dot append word. So now after this, what do? We have got a list of words, and we can traverse through these words. Now here what we can do, for I in range of length of words, because we have to traverse through the entire list of that particular variable, that is words. Initially we will do count equal to 1, and now another loop for j in range of I plus 1 to length of words. Here we are checking if words I equal to words of j. If this is the case, we'll do count equal to count plus 1. And after this is done, see here for example, and we will check here. After this is done, we will come out of j for loop, and now we will check if count is greater than c. C equal to count, most repeated will be equal to words of I. After this is done, we come out, we just print the most repeated word. For example, I will just, let me save this file as p3.py, and when I run this file here, it is asking us to enter the file name. I'll give the correct file name. So let me check. We are getting 5 as the output. So there is some problem in this length, I guess. So to debug, we will print the words here. First, let me explain what I am doing, and then we can debug it together. So what we are doing, we are reading the file here. After that, we are mentioning the most repeated word as nothing as of now. C equal to 0, and words is a list which will contain all the words. All the words, I mean, it will be having this is the week 5, and this is repeated. Okay, so this word will be having entire word. It will not be having lines, but it will be having words inside that particular file. So for that, what we are doing, for line in I file dot read lines, we are splitting that particular words. After that is done, we are entering it in inside the words. And after word has been created, what we do here, we write for I in range of words. That will be the length of that particular list. In that, we are first mentioning count equal to 1, because every word will be repeated at least one time. So now for J, for example, suppose my words are A, B, A, for example. So A is repeated twice. So A should be the output. But now here what we are doing, for I in range count equal to 1, for J in range of I plus 1. That is, first time I will be 0. So J will be 1 to the length of word. That means I will be here and J will be from here till the end of the list. So first we are checking if words of I, that means if A equal to B, which is not the case. So we will again go to this J loop. J will increment. We will check if A equal to this A. That time we will do count equal to count plus 1. That means the value of count will be 2 here, because we have initialized as 1. And now we will check if 2 is greater than C. C was 0 here. If 2 is greater than C, then we will make C equal to 2. And then most repeated will be words of I. That is, A will be the most repeated word there. If that is not the case, then it will again loop through this entire loop. Then it should be in the most repeated word. But as of now, we are getting 5 as the output, which is incorrect. And why it is incorrect, we will print what is present in words to check why it is incorrect.
So could you repeat from line 18 once more, sir? I didn't understand.
Okay, so now as we can see, this is what we are getting it here, right? So what we are doing in words, did you understand what is there inside these words when we do words dot append of word?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So for this case, this is the words list. This entire is the words list. So from line number 18, when we do for I in range of length of words, and what is the length of this? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, total number of words. For example, suppose it is 15. So when we do I in range of 15, that means I will traverse from 0 to 14 at
14.
15 times. Okay. So that is the first for loop, and we are doing count equal to 1. And J in range of 1 to length of words, because I is 0 for the first time, then it will traverse from 1 to length of word. So what we are doing, I is this word, and for J we are traversing it from here till the end of this list, and we are checking how many times this word has been repeated. So for that we are checking here if words of I is equal to words of J. If it is equal, we are increasing the count, and this for loop is executing till the length of words. After this is done, we are checking if that count is greater than the previous value of C, which was 0 initially. So that time we will make C equal to count and the most repeated word as the words of I. That means this will be repeated.
Why do you increase count?
In this case, you are asking?
No, sir. In line 22, why do you increase count?
So we are checking how many times that word has been repeated. For example, suppose words equal to A, A, for example.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is there any way to access this special programming lectures?
You mean this complete lecture?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I will
Like
upload.
this lecture and the lectures preceding it.
Yeah. I will upload it on YouTube. There was some problem with my laptop last week, so I couldn't upload it, but I'll definitely upload it.
Yes, sir. So can you please share the link of the
Definitely I do that. But before moving forward, I'll explain like why this count equal to 1. So suppose for the first case A equal to 1 and then J equal to this A to this B. So what we are checking if words of I equal to words of J. For the first case, this A equal to A. That's where we are making count equal to count plus 2. This means count plus 1. There count will be equal to 2. This means A has been repeated twice. Again we'll traverse through J. J will be here. We will again check if A is equal to A. We are doing count equal to count plus 1. That is 2 plus 1. Now count is equal to 2. Count is equal to 3. Sorry. For the next case, this will be repeated. So B will be 4 times. And that is the reason we are using count equal to count plus 1. Is this
Okay, sir.
okay? So now
Sir,
for
can we give
So
the
can you explain the for loop of 13 line?
line number 13. Okay. So here we are
Yes, sir.
traversing through the entire file. So this is what we were doing in program 1 and program 2 also, wherein line will read entire line using this ifile.read lines. And we are splitting the word because a particular line can have spaces in between. So that's why it is splitting the spaces, and then we are storing it in this words list using words.append of that particular word.
Sir, split removes empty spaces, sir.
Yeah, so there are spaces, right? In our program, there are spaces. This space is space the. And then when you can check this program, you will see that this has been splitted. Like this is one word, is the another word, the is another word, week is another word, then 5/n is another word. Why it is this backslash n here? Because this is the end of this line.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So the output 5 is correct for our case because this 5/n, 5/n is repeated twice, but other words are not repeated like more than 2 times. That's why we are getting 5 as the output. Is there any problem with this code? Do
sir?
you want?
I have a
Yes.
doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, why we are giving if statement inside the for loop, sir? It should store me straight to the first for like 19th line.
After this, you want me to put this if block?
No, sir. The last 24th if. Why should we give inside the for loop of first for loop? Why it should not be same as level for 19th line?
Okay, okay. So what we do when we go into the I block, we are just mentioning only one word. So for I, this will be only one and it will compare with every other statement, every other words inside that particular list. Suppose if A is not here, A is at the last. We just have to check how many times this A has been repeated. Okay. So when this J loop has been completed, here only we will check what is the count of A. Because second time, if you move it outside, for example here, then this will not give you the most repeated word. This will give you the last word only because it will have the count of
Yes, sir.
last word.
Yes, sir. I can understand, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other
Sir,
doubts? Yes.
sir,
Where should
where
you?
C is the count of the word, sir. How many times it repeated, no, sir? Where
Yes.
is it getting compared, like for each word?
Okay. Okay. So what we do in the initial, we do C equal to 0. That means the most repeated word has occurred 0 times. This is the initialization only. So now, when we are going to this A loop, so A is repeated 3 times, right? So it is checking if count, that is 3, is greater than 0. If this is the case, then it will make C equal to 3, which means the frequency of the most repeated word is 3 as of now. For second case, suppose we have 2C. So C is repeated twice. But suppose when it goes to C, it will check if 2 is greater than 3. Because previously A has been repeated 3 times. So it will check if 2 is greater than C. If this is not the case, it will do nothing to C. That means till this point, the most repeated word is A only. But when it goes to B, it will check number of times B has been repeated. So B is 4 here. So it will again check if 4 is greater than C. So then it will make the statement again C equal to 4 and the most repeated word is B. And then it will print the most repeated word.
Sir, shall we use the IDE in the exam?
I am not sure. I need to check it with sir.
This
I'll let you know next week. Yeah.
program assignment exam, shall we use, sir?
I guess you can use your own text editor, but I am not sure if you can use different IDE because for programming questions, like it is there mentioned in the assignment itself, that you have to write in their own editor, which is present in your website, right, in your portal. You have to write
Yes,
code
sir.
there, but still I'll check it from sir if you can write it in another IDE or not.
Okay, sir. One more request, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, how can we take the printout of the assignments, sir?
Print out as in?
We are unable to take the printout of the assignment questions.
Not use print, use return.
Actually, we are able to take the lecture notes and all these things,
Okay.
but it is not possible to take the assignment printout, sir.
You want to take printout of the questions?
We are not able to take the printout of the assignment, sir.
Let me open that list first.
Like hard copy. When should we expect the interview to be posted?
Just a
Like
sec,
the
just a
link.
sec. Let me clear this doubt first. What was the question? How to take printout, you mean? You want a hard copy of the questions that is present in the programming assignment? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I want to take the soft copy and also to take a printout, sir.
Actually, I'm not getting like how do you want the printout of this code? I'm not.
Uh, I need a soft copy and hard copy, sir.
You're asking about this code or the code that is present as the programming assignment code? You want
Okay.
my code, whatever I have written? Is that your question?
Program assignment code, I think he is asking for.
So regular
Assignment,
assignment also I are unable to take printout, sir.
the code that
To
you're
use
writing there, right?
Sir, we just need to copy the site for that.
Yeah, that's what. Any
There
other
is an
doubts?
option to print the site to Google, I guess.
Others can take print screen.
Yeah, print screen you can
Yes.
take, you can save it, I guess also.
Yeah,
In
then take
.stl
off.
file. Yeah. Any other doubts
So,
related to this program?
sir, where should we expect the
Sir,
YouTube
when will you
links?
upload these lectures on YouTube?
I will try to upload it tomorrow or day after tomorrow. There was some problem with
Sir,
my laptop, I've already mentioned. I got my
sir,
What's the
laptop
where
yesterday
channel?
only.
where do we
What's
get
the
the link
channel?
of this? What's the channel? Yes,
Can you
that is
please
it.
repeat? I got two questions together. I cannot figure out
Sir,
what's the question.
what's the channel name where you upload the note, where you
Uh,
upload the lectures?
it will be with my name only. But once I upload it, I'll mention it in the portal. I'm sorry I could not upload it last week, but I'll upload it
Yes,
tomorrow or day
sir.
after tomorrow. And I'll
Yes,
let
sir.
you know the
Thank you,
channel
sir.
name also. Yeah.
Sir,
Sir, I have
one
a
doubt.
doubt.
Sir, please send us the link of the channels too, sir.
Sure. Definitely.
Sir,
Yes.
there at the last most repeated equal to words of I you have given me, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, in there we used for loop for I as a variable, no, sir.
Yeah.
Wouldn't I be the like last iteration number?
No, not always, because you're checking it inside I block only. This is inside I. So for the first case, when I equal to 0, and word of, so here most repeated will be words of I, that is words of 0. That means A. So A has been repeated 3 times. When you go to C, that means I equal to 2 here, and C is repeated only twice. But with this if statement, you cannot go inside because A is equal to 3. A has been repeated 3 times, C was repeated 2 times only. So 2 is greater than 3, this statement is false. Then you won't go inside. But when you go to this B statement, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the index of I is 4 here. So now B is repeated 4 times. Now it will check if count is greater than C, that is 4 greater than C. This is true. So C will be equal to 4, and most repeated word will be words of 4, because this is the fourth index I. That time most repeated word will be B here.
Sir, the 24th line if is inside the second for loop because it has to finish all the words of the second for loop.
Yeah, this is not inside the second for loop. This is outside the second for loop, along with second for loop. because you have to check the number of times that word has been repeated. So for that, this loop has to be entirely completed checking like the count. Only
Also,
after,
only if it completely checks it, it will go to the if on the 24th.
yeah.
Okay, so okay.
I still quite didn't get four iterations, sir. Like
Which for iteration? Line number
for I
19
in
or 13?
range,
Which one?
for I in range, for every iteration, it's like I gets incremented by one, no, sir.
Yes, definitely. So see, we'll go step by step.
Then again, it will check for A, no, sir.
Yeah. So let me,
At the second iteration,
yeah.
I will be I two, no, sir.
So see, we'll do one thing. I'll go step by step here. So suppose this is the word statement. So for the first case, when I equal to 0, words of I will be equal to A here. Okay, is this clear? Then we do count equal to 1. Then what we do? J equal to I plus 1. That is 1 to the length of words. That means J will loop through this statement only. These many elements. Then we will check how many times this A has been repeated. A was repeated 3 times. For the second iteration, as you have mentioned, I is equal to 1, right? So that time we
Yes.
again do count equal to 1. So now I is here, and this is not there in the story first word. I will remove it as of now. So I is here, or let me keep it as it is. I is in the second place, and J starts from 2 to length of words. That means J will start from here. Now this time number of times A has been repeated is only 2 times, so nothing will change. Again for the third iteration it will go to C, and J will start from this C to this A. Number of times C has been repeated is 2 times. Nothing will change. Again,
Like by then I will be three, no, sir.
no. I starts from 0, like 0, 1 and 2 here.
Yeah, by then I will be two.
I will be 2 and J will start from 3 till the end of list.
Yeah, at the end of the list, it will be
It will be 0, 1, 2, 3,
three.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will be 8 at the
It
end
will
of
be
the list.
eight. Like most repeated will be the last word itself.
Can you please repeat? The most repeated word will be?
The last word itself.
How is that so?
Like at the end of the iteration, I will be there with certain value stored for I, no, sir.
No. See,
I think
let's.
he's confusing between index and the content.
Yeah. So suppose when we have reached till this point, suppose I is here for example, so J will go from I plus 1 to length of words. So J will be here. We will check that nothing is there, because we have to check this count also. This count won't be repeated. If count is only greater than C, then only we will get this most repeated word. Otherwise, this will be index only. And for the last word, when I is here, J will be I plus 1. So this loop will not be executed at all, because this will be out of range. Did you get it?
Not quite sure.
Okay, we'll do one thing here. What we will do, we will print the count for each of the iterations. Let me print count here. And let me remove this thing.
Sir, what I'm thinking is,
Mm-hmm.
at the last iteration,
Mm-hmm.
I will be like 7.
Yes, I will be 7. Yes.
I
I
will
will
be
be 8.
7.
I will be 8. Yeah.
Why wouldn't it return words of 7?
No, because we are checking count also, right? Let me print this
Okay.
count and I guess you will be clear with your doubt. What I'll do, I'll write the same thing inside my file. I'll change my file now. So I'll write the same thing. Like A, second is A. These are the contents of my file, okay? I'll save it. I will run the program. Oh, I didn't save the program. You can see a dot here. That's why we didn't get the output. I'll remove this. So now you can see when the first word was A. So A was repeated twice here with the other two statements. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So this is showing the number of iterations the words have been repeated. So for the last one,
Okay.
when this is the case, when it is 8, this will be only repeated first only one time. But the most frequent word is this 4, which means this B is repeated 4 times. That's why the output is B here. Is it clear now?
Okay, sir. The C equal to count, the count variable will be remembered as the iteration I value that it will remember like that.
Yeah. C will store the current maximum frequency of the word repeated.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sir, what if two variables having highest count and we have to append those two variables to the words list? Then how we have to write? Sir?
Okay. So for that there will be a simple change. Like in place of this string, mention it as list on line number 9, and on line number 24, just write dot append. So suppose A and B are repeated, for example, three times. That time this should work. Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I guess we are done for the day. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me, and I'll upload this video. So just for your case, I mentioned A also 4 times, B also 4 times, and the output you are getting is A and B.
Okay, sir. Thank you.